Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the next topic from our unit number 4, and the topic name is a priori algorithm. So whatever we have seen up to now is totally on how to find out the frequent items from our set, how to calculate the maximal frequent, and how we are going to calculate the closed frequent, and we have seen the different examples on that. And now there are one proper method to find out your frequent item sets that you can find out from your transaction data set. So this thing we are going to cover with this a priori algorithm. So starting with introductory part of a priori algorithm. This algorithm is used for finding the frequent item set. We know how to find the frequent item set, and when we are saying the item set is frequent, when that count or that frequency is nothing but how many transactions are containing that particular item set. That number of transaction is equal to the frequency, or we are also call it as a support count of that particular item. So this method we have seen that how to calculate that frequent item. So this a priori algorithm is also used for the same purpose. We are going to find here the frequent item set by using some candidate generation. So this candidate generation term we are going to use in our this a priori algorithm, and in terms of functions we are going to use. So we are going to see the algorithm also, and we are going to solve an example related to this algorithm also. This a priori algorithm is also called as a seminal algorithm. It is based on the fact that the algorithm, its name itself contains the prior. So that name uses the prior knowledge of frequent item set properties. Means we are having a prior knowledge that what are the frequent items from the different given transaction data. So the a priori algorithm is at the core of various algorithm for the data mining problems. So we know that the use of a priori algorithm is a very tremendous in the data mining problems. So it is most important part of our data mining, which is the core of the different algorithm that we are going to see, for example decision tree, k-means, and etc. So these are all the best, and this is very important part of our data mining algorithm. So talking about that, who is invented this? So this algorithm is given by the R. Agrawal and R. Shrikant in 1994 for finding out our frequent item sets from the given data set. That can be any transaction data or any particular thing by using the Boolean association rule. So Boolean association, we have seen that if then else in that format, if this then this, if A then B, likewise. So by using such a association rule, we can find out the frequent item set. So we have seen this concept of this Boolean association rule, and how we are going to find out the frequent item set, maximal item sets, and the closed item set according to given your transaction data. So this thing is provided by this two R. Agrawal and R. Shrikant, which are the inventor of this a priori algorithm. The name of this algorithm, I already told you that it uses the prior knowledge of your frequent item set properties. So we have to apply an interactive approach, or we can say we have to apply the label wise search where the k frequent item sets are used to find out the k plus 1 item sets. So how we are saying it is k frequent and the k plus 1 frequent? K frequent is nothing but that what the size of sets we are choosing. One frequent means single elements are choosing. When we are saying the two frequent, then group of two items are we are selecting. So these are the nothing but the k frequent. So you can take the 1 frequent, 2 frequent, 3 frequent, 4 frequent, likewise up to the k frequent. So we are using this k frequent item set whenever we are finding out the k plus 1 item set. Means whenever we want to find out the 3 frequent item sets, then we are going to make the use of 2 frequent item sets over there. So this is what the approach we are finding here in the a priori algorithm. To improve the efficiency of this level wise generation of frequent item set, an important property is called as a priori property, which helps by reducing the search space. So we have seen how to find out the different frequent item sets and then closed item set, but here some properties we are using to finding such a frequent item sets. So that property that we are going to use whenever we are moving level wise generation of our frequent item set, that property is called as a priori property. So let's see what that property is exactly. But the basic idea for this is an item set can only be the large item set if all its subsets are large item sets. Frequent item sets are called nothing but the set of item set that have the minimum support. So we also seen in the previous session that whenever we are saying that a particular item set is a frequent, then it should satisfy the minimum support count, means that frequency count of that item set should be greater than or equal to the minimum support. Then and then only we can consider that as a frequent item set. So all the subset of the frequent item set must be the frequent. This term is very important, that all the subset of that frequent item set must be the frequent. For example, if I am saying I want to calculate the frequency of PQ, whether that PQ is frequent or not. So what are the subset of PQ? P and Q. These are the two subsets. Then if I am saying that PQ is frequent, then it should satisfy the condition that the item set P and the item set Q separately, they should be frequent. They should be frequent. So this single P and the single Q are nothing but the subset of this PQ. So they should be frequent, then and then we can say that this PQ is a frequent. So find the frequent item set frequently with cardinality of 1 to k item sets, and here we generate the association rule from the frequent item set. So how we are going to do that? So we need to find, we need to satisfy this first property, that is a priori property. What it says, that all non-empty subset of frequent item set must be the frequent. So we have seen the example of PQ. All the subset of frequent item set must be the frequent. This is called as a priori property. And if an item set is infrequent, then all its supersets will be infrequent. Means if we find out that the subsets are not frequent and therefore our item set is infrequent, so whatever its supersets will be generated, that all superset is going to be infrequent. So this is what the a priori property that we need to satisfy whenever we are using this algorithm, that a priori algorithm for finding out the frequent item set. So let's start with the algorithm. What is the input and what are the output of this is given. So D is nothing but our database of transaction that we are always considering, that basic database or a source we have provided with that. And again so many times the minimum support count is provided. That minimum support count will decide which item set is going to be considered as a frequent and which are not frequent. If your item set is having its frequency count greater than or equal to the minimum support, then and then we are calling that item set as a frequent item set, otherwise it is infrequent. So the minimum support count threshold is always given, and output is that we have to find out the final L list, that is a frequent item sets in a given database transaction D. So this is what the input and output. Now if we are seeing this a priori algorithm, so you might see this some terms are there and that may look like a difficult. So what we are doing first, we will see the example and then we'll move towards this algorithmic implementation of this thing. So first of all we'll see by example that what it terms means, and then we will cover the algorithmic part or coding part. So here is example is given, and how many transactions are given here. The 9 transaction with the TID T1 to T9. These are the 9 transactions are given over here, and whatever the item sets are there that are purchasing behavior of this transaction 1, transaction 2 likewise. So these items are given for each transaction. That T1 transaction is having the items like I1, I2, I5. T2 is having items like I2 and I4 likewise. So this transaction and their IDs are given, and total 9 count is used for this number of transactions. Now the minimum support is provided, and whenever you are going to find out whether your item set is frequent or not, then this minimum support threshold should be maintained. Means whatever the frequency count of item, that should be greater than or equal to this minimum support count, that is nothing but 2. And again the minimum confidence is also given, that is 60%. Now we need to solve this by using the a priori algorithm. So what this algorithm says, We are going forward with the k frequent, right? So k frequent will start with the 1 frequent, 2 frequent, 3 frequent likewise. So we are moving up to the k frequent. So starting with the k is equal to 1, that we have to choose the element for the 1 frequent. So 1 frequent will contains only the single element at a time. So if you are saying, if you are looking at the items, so how many items are there? I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. Only up to the I5, the 5 items we are having in our item sets. So I will make our item set according to the value k is equal to 1, that is the k frequent. That's why we are selecting the single item at a time. So from moving I1, I2, I3, I4 up to the I5, we have selected the items from this as a single 1 frequent. K frequent is nothing but now k is equal to 1. So I am selecting one item at a time in item set. So I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. Now we have created a table containing a support count of each item present in the data sets. So I am calling this as a support count. I can also call it as a frequency count likewise. So support count means how many times that I1 or that particular item is coming in your transaction data. So if I am calculating the I1, you can see here I1 is coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 times. So the count of I1 is 6, and I am calling this as a candidate set. I will call it as a candidate set in which we are calculating the support count of the one frequent. We are calculating the support count of the one frequent, and I will call it as a candidate set. So I1 is occurring 6 times, so its support count will be 6. Now what about I2? Calculate the support count of I2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is what the support count of I2. Same for I3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the support count of item I3 will be 6. What about I4? 1, 2, yes. So it will be 1 and 2. Then for I5, 1 and 2. So these are the support count of your item set I1 to I5. Now when I will say that a particular item is a frequent, only when they are satisfying the equation for the frequency. What is the equation? That their support count should be greater than or equal to the minimum support. So what is the minimum support count is given? Here it is given as a 2. So we have to check for that. And if you are looking here in the step number 2, we have to compare a candidate set, means whatever we have generated C1, we need to compare our candidate set item support count with the minimum support count to declare which item sets are frequent or which are infrequent. So I will say that the minimum support count is given as a 2. So I will check each item set of this candidate set whether they are satisfying the equation. So I1 is having 6, 6 is greater than or equal to 2, yes. So that's why I1 is included in our next list, that is called as a L1. I am calling it as a list L1. This is called as a candidate list. Now this is my list L1. Again I2, 7 is greater than 2, so I2 is also included, it is also frequent. Then I3, 6 is greater than 2, so I3 is also included with its support count 6, and it is included in the list L1. Then I4 is equal to 2, it is greater than or equal to, so it is equal to 2, and that's why we have considered this I4 is also frequent and I5 is also frequent because it is equal to 2. So this is what my next list L1 is created. So what we have done in the first step? In first step we are finding the k frequent. So k is here 1. So we have finded out the 1 frequent. With this 1 frequent we have generated a candidate set, and then by looking their frequency minimum support count, then we have generated our L1. L1 is nothing but the list of frequent items only which have satisfied the condition that the frequency count of that item should be greater than minimum support. So in this way we have done with the step 1. Now step number 2. Now our k is incremented. Now k is 2. So we are generating a candidate set again, that is I am calling is now C2. But how we are using how we are finding out this C2? By using the L1. So whatever the list we have generated over here, by using this list L1, we are now generating the C2. This candidate set, and this is L1, this is C1 and this is L1. Now by using this L1, again I am going to find out the C2. For the K2 we are finding out the candidate set. So here we are using some join operations here to find out this. So what is the condition required for joining is that whenever we are joining that LK1 to LK1, at that time it should have the K minus 2 elements in a common, means that much element should be there in common, then we can merge that. So check, so what we are going to do here, we are going to check all the subsets of item sets which are whether they are frequent or not. How we are going to find out the subset? If I am saying that we are calculating the 2 frequent, that is K is equal to 2. 2 frequent means we are taking the combination of 2 items at a time. So how the combination is formed? I1, I2, I1, I3, I1, I4, I1, I5. I2 with I3, I2 with I4, I2 with I5. I2 with I1 will be same as a I2 with I1 with I2. So that's why we are not taking the same thing. So we have taken the combination of 2 item set, I2, I3, I2, I4, I2, I5, I3, I4, I3, I5 and I4, I5. So these are the different combination. Now how I can say that these subsets are these item sets are frequent or not? So for this we are checking the a priori property. What is that? If the subset of this item sets are frequent, then I will say these item sets are frequent. So what is the subset of I1 and I2? What is the subset of this item set I1, I2? I1 is a subset, I2 is also subset. So you can see here the example given that subset of I1 and I2 are I1 separately and I2 separately. If they are frequent, then I will say that I1 and I2 is also frequent. So is they are frequent I1 and I2? For that we have to check the L1. So we have to check the L1. So I1 is having support count 6, I2 is having, yeah, it is mentioned in the L1, yes, they are frequent. We have taken in the L1 only those elements or those items we have selected in L1 that satisfy the minimum support count. So what I will say, if that subset of I1 and I2, if they are frequent, means I will check whether they are present in L1. If they are present in L1 means what? Their subset are frequent and therefore the superset is also frequent, and therefore I will say that I1 and I2 is frequent. Okay. Same way I1 and I3, for this I will check I1 and I3, yeah, they are present over here and they are having the support count 6 and 6, so they are frequent. So in this way we have to first of all check whether the subset of that item sets are frequent or not, and after that what is the need that we need to check is we have to calculate the support count of that. Okay, now we are going to find out the support count of this item. First of all, what we have done, we have checked whether the subset of that item sets are frequent or not, and now I am checking that whether this item sets are satisfying that minimum support count here. So I1 and I2, I1 and I2, if I am checking here how many times it is occurring, I1, I2, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 4 times it is coming. I1 and I3, 1, 2, 3 and 4 times. I1 and I4, 1, only single time. So in this way you have to calculate the frequency count for each item set here. So this is what step number 2 where we have finded out the C2, that is candidate list 2. Now what we have to calculate? The L2. After, we have calculated like in the K is equal to 1, we have candidate set we have finded out, that is C1. With that we have finded out the L1. Now here we have finded the candidate set C2. This is what my candidate set. Now I will check for L2 which of these item sets are frequent, means which are the item sets are satisfying the condition that is greater than the minimum support count. So minimum support count is 2. So which are satisfying this? I1, I2 is having their support count greater than 2. I1, I3. Then I1 and I4 are not frequent because their support count is not satisfying the equation of minimum support. Then I1, I5, I2, I3, I2, I4, I2, I5 again they are frequent. Then I3 and I4 will not be frequent because they are having their frequency count as a 0 which is less than 2. I3, I5 is also 1 which is less than 2, and I4, I5 is having 0 which is less than 2. So whenever we are comparing our candidate set C2 with the support count which is greater than or equal to minimum support, that minimum support value is given as a 2, then we are getting the list over here that 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 2 only. Okay, so according to that we have selected the items, and these are only the list items in our L2 item set, Now what is the next thing? Now step number 3, we are going to find out this C3, that is k is equal to 3. So how we are going to find out that k is equal to 3? We are generating the list, that C3, using L2. So this is what my L2, I have taken over here that table L2. So from this we are finding out our item sets and different combination of item set, like here are mentioned, not in the table, but here you can see I1, I2, I3, I1, I2, I5, I1, I2, I3, I5, I2, I3, I4 likewise. So we have to select the initial of this item set. So what is the initial of the item set? I1, 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 I2, I2, I2. So whatever the things are starting with the I1, I2, I3, we have selected that. So this is what generated item sets, but we are creating the list of candidate set only when their subsets are frequent. So I need to check if I am considering the I1, I2 and I3. So what are the subsets of I1, I2, I3? Subset, not talking about the superset, I am talking about the subset. So for this I1, I2, I3, the subsets are I1, I2, then I2, I3 and I1, I3. So let me check whether these subsets are present in my L2, because L2 is given as an input to find out the C3. So I will check whether they are present. So I1, I2, yes, it is present. I2, I3, I2, I3 is present, yes. I1, I3, yeah, it is also present, 4, 4, 2. So yeah, they are present, which are, that's why we can say this is frequent. So I have included in the table that I1, I2, I3 is included. Now next, if we are checking for I1, I2, I4, next combination, the combination will be I1, I2 with I3, I1, I2 with I4. If I am taking any combination of this, if we are selecting that, we are checking for I2, I3 and I4. Okay, I2, I3 and I4. So what are the subset of this? I2, I3, then I3, I4 and I2, I4. So I will check first. I2, I3 is there? Yeah, it is there. I3, I4 is there? No, it is not there, and that's why we can say that its one subset is not a frequent, and therefore this I2, I3, I4 is not a frequent. So you can see that we have not included in this C2 table. We have not included that into the candidate C3 table. Next, again, if we are checking for I1, I2, I5, suppose we are checking for I1, I2 and I5. So what are these subsets of I1, I2? I5, I1, I2, it is present. I2, I5, it is present. Then I2, next is I1, I5. So I1, I5, it is present. So as they are present, so we can say that yes, all the three subsets are frequent, and therefore I2, I3, I5 is also included in this candidate set. So in this way we have calculated. So here we have calculated the candidate set C3. Now what is the remaining thing? We have to calculate the L3. So how we are going to calculate that L3? L3 will be calculated by checking whether the that item sets we are having in our candidate list, whether they are satisfying the minimum support count. So both are having 2 and it is equal to the minimum support count. So yes, both are satisfying the minimum support count. So in this way we need to solve the examples, and after looking toward this example, now we are going to see the a priori algorithm. So how we are moving? See here, L1 is nothing but a list is generated, and that will be a k is equal to 1, means one frequent list is generated. One frequent list we are generating here. That is nothing but this list. Okay, this is called as a one frequent list. Here we are taking the frequency of first item. So here it is a one frequent list we have calculated. Then next thing, for k is equal to 2 and onwards, that k minus 1 is not equal to 5. Up to here k is not equal to 5, you have to find out this a priori generation algorithm. So according to our value sets, we are calling this a priori generation. So where is this a priori generation method? Here is a priori generation method. Here we are giving a parameter as a k frequent list. So what we are checking, that for particular list, whether that list is belongs to our k frequent list, and if it is belonging to that, then we are checking whether the elements are matching in that both list or not. For example, here in I1, I2, I3, I4 we have done. So we are this is what the K1. If we are moving forward for K2, then we are checking whether this I1 is containing the element, whether that is equal to the list in I2. So how we are going to find out that? Here, that L1 elements at the list 1 first position is equal to the first element of the second list, and the second element of the first list is equal to the second element of the second list, and up to the k elements, if they are equal, then we have to make a join. We are taking the join operation of that list L1 with the list L2. Okay, and if it has the infrequent subset, means if I am saying that whenever we are doing the join step, what I have said, the condition of joining is that we are joining the Lk minus 1 with the Lk minus 1, and it should have some minimum k minus 2 elements in the common. So we are joining the two list over here, L1 and L2 list likewise. So same operation we have seen, that we are joining the list if that items are frequent. If there has a infrequent subset, means that items that we have mentioned is not a frequent, then we should not consider that item. We delete or we remove that item and we are not considering that item. If that is not infrequent, means else part, if whatever the item we have chosen that is a frequent, then we have to add that item in our CK list. A CK list means whatever the candidate list we are generating, whenever r k is equal to 1, it will be C1. Whenever k is equal to 2, it will be C2. So according to that, we have to generate our CK list here when we are calculating that a priori generation algorithm. So in this way you are creating your table, that is candidate generation table. After the generation of your candidate table, that we are finding out the C1, C2, C3, here by using that a priori generation we are finding out this table always. Candidate set we are finding out. This is what the another candidate set. Then this is what the another candidate set. So C1, C2, C3 we are finding out by using this a priori generation method. After finding out your candidate table, what is the next thing we are doing? We are checking the subset of that particular element is frequent or not. Okay, if I am considering any particular transaction of this CK, then I will check whether that CT is having its subset. For example, in this example we have seen that the subset of L1 and L2 I1 and I2 are nothing but I1 and I2 separately. So in this way we are checking for this CT. Now here CT is C2. CT is nothing but C2. So for this list C2 and the item set I1 and I2, we are checking whether their subsets are frequent. Yes, I1 and I2 are frequent, so I am checking for that. So same way in this algorithm it is mentioned that we are checking whether the subset are there for this, and if that subsets are frequent, whatever we have chosen, whether that subset are frequent, then if they are frequent, then we have to calculate their frequencies, and after that we have to put whatever the frequent sets we are getting, then we are putting that into our L1 or L2 or LK list. So whenever I am saying that from here I1 and I2 its subsets are frequent, then I am putting them into my I2 list. I'm putting them into the my L2 list. If I am saying that I1 and I2 are not a frequent, then I will not put that into the list. If you are looking over here that these are the different sets are generated, okay, so I'm putting the selecting the items such that where the subset of that items are frequent, only that item sets are selected over here. So same thing we are doing in this algorithm, only that part is selected whatever are satisfying their frequency count, and that we are choosing for this generation of LK list, and according to that we are generating our LK list. So what is the another condition for LK list? That whatever the items are selected, they should have their count minimum greater than the minimum support. That count should be greater than the frequency count, or we can say the support count of that item C which are selected. It should have their frequency count greater than or equal to minimum support, and likewise you have to generate your L1, L2 and L3 list over there. And after that we are returning that overall merged list of that item set and our L list at the end. So these are the different method, and how we are going to find out that whether these items are infrequent or frequent. So we are checking whether they are belonging to our L list. If they are not belongs to our L list, then items are infrequent. If they are belonging to that, then we are saying that items are frequent. How? In the very first example, whenever I am saying that I am checking for I1 and I2 whether they are frequent. So I have created the subset of I1 and I2. So where I am going to check whether they are frequent? In my previous list. If I am creating the L2, then I will check in the L1 whether they are frequent. So here is my L1 list. So in L1 I will check whether they are present in L1. Yes, here I1 and I2 are present, so they are frequent. So same way here we are checking here whether they are present in Lk minus 1. Whenever I am calculating L2, then I will check whether the subsets are present in L1, and that's why we are checking for Lk minus 1. If they are not belongs to there, then they are infrequent. If they belongs there, then condition is false, means they are frequent. So in this way the a priori is designed. And here we have seen the example. By looking at example, and then after looking the example, if we are understanding the algorithm, then it will get little bit easy to understand this algorithm. So we have seen the example and the algorithm of a priori and the example regarding to this. So here we have finished a topic a priori algorithm with the example. In the upcoming lecture we are going to take the more examples on this a priori. And we will cover 1 and 2 example, and then we will move towards the next topic. So we will stop today here. Thank you all of you.